What is up, YouTube fam? Robbie C here. Today we've got 15 inner cores and we're gonna see, can we learn how to throw a little farther? But before we dive in, we gotta ask the most important question of the day. How you doing today, Nick? You having a good one?
So catch me if I fall.
Alrighty, well, welcome to the aftermath of an intro that I thought might be a good idea. On Tuesday, I dropped a video on my channel that is titled, How Far Do I Throw? Because, of course, that is a piece of information that people are going to use to assess the validity of your coaching and really just the validity of you as a human being, at least according to the disc golf community. And I am not someone that throws particularly far. And especially, I apparently have a curse that when I test discs and when I try to work on distance that, like Elsa, let the storm rage on. I don't think that was actually as horrible as it felt. I actually been doing lessons all day today, and here we are with massive wins. Yeah. But when I try to throw distance, I instantly can get really frustrated and get like sort of caught in the mix of it because I don't know about you guys, but it feels like, especially our hobbies, when we feel like we're making progress, when we are halted in that progress or we make regression in that progress, it can make it even more frustrating than it have never found the progress before. And that's where I'm at in my disc golf journey. Before I tried to bring some matters into my own hands and I tweaked my elbow, I actually was pushing 400 pretty consistently, had some distance, felt super happy about where we had gone and all the hard work of rebuilding my form finally showing its fruits. And then I got injured and then I was afraid to go do any field work because I didn't want to re-injure it, and therefore I just stalled out, fell back into old habits, and bada boom, bada bing, I throw mediocre distance again. Now, mediocre distance for me is relative. I think that's something that we need to talk about when it comes to distance in general, because there's a lot of distance shaming that happens inside of our sport. If you throw over 300 feet comfortably, as a guy who works with several players and tries to coach, that's pretty far. You throw a good amount of distance. If you throw 350 comfortably and you can clear that 350 barrier, especially for amateurs, you throw far. But I understand that we all want to push the barriers. We want to move a little further, a little more comfortably. And my goal is to throw 450 by the end of the year. Why? Because I find the name next to my title or PDGA number, professional, which means that I need to be able to play at a high level. And my backhand certainly holds me back, not only because they're backhand holes that I'm unable to score on, but also even some of the shorter holes, my competitors are throwing putters in mid-ranges and I'm having to throw fairway drivers and drivers, which is just gonna bring me a little bit of inconsistency and difficulty in hitting my target. So I'd like to not be frustrated when it comes to throwing distance. I'd like to not have anxiety the moment that I put a distance driver in my hand, and I'd like to be able to have the joy and satisfaction as a guy who loves to throw putters and mids to be able to throw them a little bit farther, so that especially in Birmingham, where there are maybe 10 or 15 holes across the entire city that require you to throw 400 or beyond, I'd like to just be able to throw my putters and mids all over the city. So those are the goals, and we have inner cores because of two factors. The first is that I love the inner core, and I think that the inner core is fantastic, and it shows almost as a reader when you're overturning things, underturning things. Now in this wind, doesn't matter what I'm throwing, nothing's going to come out in relativity. But the other factor in throwing putters is that that fence all the way back there is about 380 feet away is my guess. I'll have to range find it and come out here, but it's uphill the entire way. And I know for a fact that I couldn't get this putter even in a tailwind all the way there. But maybe if we continue to work on distance, we'll get it there. So now to deliver on the clickbait. In this road to 400, I know there are several things that I need to work on in my form. And one of the biggest ones, before we even worry about footwork, before we worry about literally anything else, is keeping the elbow away from the body. I cannot let this thing get pinned. And the more footage you watch, the more slow-mo you watch, every single pro has their elbow away from their body, creating the space, and their elbow is out front to a degree. Now, we're not all being the Anthony Barellas and David Wiggins Jr.'s of the world that are out here, but there is even Calvin, who's much more rotational. His elbow is out front and away from his body. And you know what my elbow's doing during my throw? You guessed it, it's neither. It's both not out away from me and it's not in front of me. so that makes sense. Overthrow released a video recently, talks about winning the arm wrestle. This was an eye-opening moment for me, and if you haven't seen that video, I will try to remember, but I'll be honest, I probably, like 1 times out of 20, actually remember to put the link there, but I'll definitely try to remember to put it in the description down below. But in that video, Josh talks about winning the arm wrestle. And here is exactly what we're discussing, because I've been doing this with students in my lessons as well. So we're going to put the arm out here, and this is a representation of keeping the elbow away from us. Now, when I turned my hand like so, I should feel tension in this part of my arm, in this part of my shoulder to be specific. There are 2 ways for me to alleviate that tension in my shoulder. The first is to drop it. When I drop it, that goes away. And that is probably the most common example that so many people do. They're here, they have the tension, they've created the elbow space, and when they go back here, rather than reaching back and keeping the elbow space out here, we just roll everything in and we reach back, and now the elbow is pinched, it's pinned, and as I rotate, it's never gonna get into a powerful position, and it's also gonna have a really hard time, whoop, getting farther ahead. So, option 1, when I have won the arm wrestle, is to drop the elbow. Option 2 is, surprise, surprise, and those of you watching, you can do this exercise with me right here and feel exactly what I'm talking about, is if I just get my elbow ahead and get it out front, boom, the tension goes away as well. So, I want to today, step 1 in creating the space is I want to feel just what it's like to get the elbow out in front. I'm not really gonna worry about a run up. I want my elbow to feel the space and feel what it seems like should be happening as my hand is in this lane and I'm throwing shots. That's all we care about today. We're gonna build this piece by piece. The road to 450 is not built in a day, just like Rome. Maybe you guys do think about Rome a little too much. The second thing that's happening is going into a supination, which is the palm turning up. So often when we're throwing and we come through, we dip big like this, and as we come around the other side, our palm presses down. We actually pronate, which is turning the palm down. We pronate through the throw, and so here I've reached back, I've gone Ricky Wysocki, but instead of coming through and doing what Rick does, which is supinate and get to that wrist turned up, I'm actually pronating, and I'm popping, and this makes it really hard to get the nose down. Even if I'm pouring the coffee as much as I can, whoop, it's still flying nose up. So not only am I trying to work on sort of creating that space, winning the arm wrestle, but I'm also, one of the suitcase method actually helps with this, I believe, because as I come through, I would never throw the disc like this. But if I throw the disc like so and hit that point, hopefully it'll keep that elbow out and away from me and allow myself to throw. And that's important as you guys work through this, is to know that there is a lot to think about, and it's a very active motion. So while we can't just completely break everything down, we do have to combine multiple pieces in at a time. This does feel like something that I'm gonna see just isolating it, and send it to coach and see what he thinks. All right, 15 throws. They don't have to be hard, they don't have to be solid, they just have to have the space. That's all I'm trying to do, is get the elbow out in front so that the shoulder pressure goes away, and then send the hand. Because instead of accelerating back here and trying to accelerate into this and then having nothing left and letting the steam come out, if I can get my arm into this position and boom, the elbow's forward, that is where the speed and the hit should be happening. We win the arm wrestle and we hardcore grip locked it to the right. I do expect that to happen, because right now I'm not squared up at all in terms of creating a counterbalance. I actually was to the side. So let's win the arm wrestle. Here we go. I like that. Okay. Win the arm wrestle. Here we go. Bullet. Dead straight. Here we go. Win the arm wrestle. Turn it over, that's fine. Win the arm wrestle. That one leaked out a little bit. Still gonna be fine because there's so much wind out here. If you just get it somewhat out there, it's gonna float pretty wonderfully. I'm gonna try pulling it down a little bit so that I'm not pulling through like Count Dracula up high. Gonna pull it through here, here. This is comfortable for me. If I'm here, it is here. Send the hand. Win the arm wrestle. Okay, that actually felt really good. Here, roll it, hit it nose down. Here we go. It smells like popcorn over here. Okay. My miss is traditionally early because I hate grip locking it to the right, and I developed like this. I went too heavy on over gripping the disc, and when you over grip the disc, that's gonna happen if your hand speed doesn't match. The only option is for it to end at the kinetic chain where you yank it to the right, and so because of that fear, I end up missing that way. Or I just decide not to there, and I just hold on to it. I'm throwing too hard. I just need to go slow through the motion. I need to go slow through the motion. See, that's such a classic example. Side guy can like see that he just had to sit through all of that, whereas you guys just saw slow through the motion. I don't know why I would try to go full speed right off the bat. I'm trying to learn a new motion, get this slow. Okay, that was nose up. Here. That was nose down and turned over. That's what I like, is I know that I'm hitting the supination and rolling it almost too much because some of these are burning over to the right. Better, better, much better. That's nose up the whole way. That's why it's so floaty and glidey. Okay, we're gonna pick up those 15. We're gonna get a side angle and see what we got. It's hard to say that it's not results driven when the goal of this series is to throw 450. But I definitely know that throwing fast, like coming through, creates not the ideal swing path that we're looking for yet, because I haven't learned that motion. So we're gonna slow things down still and just feel out the pop. That's step one. Step two is I am gonna adjust my grip just a little bit, maybe go a little tighter on it, but probably not like too much tighter, because I'm not throwing fast, so I don't wanna have that hand speed happening as an issue. But I do know that something that I wanna mess around with is creating a little more tension with the thumb, as opposed to right now, a lot of my tension is really in the fingers. And I'm just curious if my thumb almost has been too loose, which is why stuff's slipping out early, causing me some issues. But we'll do a side view. If you are working with a coach digitally, the two angles that I'm filming right here, this side view and the one from the back right there, these are what we definitely prefer, whether if you're doing forehand, it's coming from this side, obviously backhand, other direction. These are great angles for us to have so that we can review the footage and look. I'll be sending pretty much this entire video to my coach so that he can look at it. All right, here we go. We're here, this, won the arm wrestle, get through, because my pull through actually ends up being a little lower, so I want to make sure that I still feel that, like that feels really natural as opposed to coming up high like this. We're here, but I kind of have to reach lower to not throw them straight into the ground. Arm wrestle, bang. Didn't mess with the grip at all there, and it did slip out. Okay, thumb was a little more gripped into it, and we definitely grip locked it, but that's fine. Nice middle ground, Mr. Dennis. That felt really good. And went straight into the ground, which lets me know nose angle might have been better. Because that's an issue that a lot of think amateurs have, is that, oh, let me get the nose down, let me get the nose down, let me get the nose down. But if our swing path is not fixed either and we get the nose down, it's just gonna shoot straight into the ground. The reason so many people of us throw nose up is because our angle's heading into the ground, but our body doesn't want to do that. So our thumb goes, let me help you, brother. Let me help you, sister. And we push and we get that disc popping nose up. That felt a lot better. That felt a lot better. It feels a lot smoother. I don't know if it's particularly better. This is where, like I said, if you're doing this, I'm filming myself on this camera, but it's not the ideal camera to kind of watch stuff back on. Beautiful part about phones, smartphones, whatever generation you come from, these cameras work really well, and a nice $10 tripod is gonna go a mile to helping you improve your game. Okay, I think that was the right swing path. I just didn't hold on to the disc at all. That's gonna be a bane of my existence, is holding on to the disc too light or too little. Like that felt like the right amount. And of course, it's an absolute smash. I mean, I feel like they're inner cores. I feel like these are going like 260, 280. But then I just don't hold on to it after the next one. And I'm like, oh, why didn't it go anywhere? Because if you don't hold on to the disc, it's very difficult for it to rip out when it slips out. You see what I'm saying, my people? That felt, sounded, that seemed real good. That right there, run it back, side guy. That one right there, that may be what we want. I want to know why that was different than the others. And we're only gonna know when sometimes when you feel it, it's like, all right, cool, but elbow out. Nope, and you didn't hold on to it again, Dennis. Come on, brother. The hat throw is the frustration of like, what are we doing? Just do your job, my friends. There are 5 of you, 1 of the disc. You have it surrounded. That's it. Super nose up, but that's it. We held on. That, also it. That, also it. 2 from the side felt real good. So it actually wasn't 15, it was 16 inner cores. So that's 32 throws that we just got with that. Now, is that enough to really drive in a habit? Absolutely not, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely not. But I'm not gonna suggest or subject you guys to watching me to sit here and do the field work over and over again, because this is something that I think so many people are looking for, that silver bullet. They're looking for that, oh, I can't throw fast, oh, I can't do this, let me fix this. I know what an issue is here. The elbow has to stay away and the elbow has to get out front. And the only way that my body is gonna get there is if I practice that motion, because for every 10 throws that I have where I'm doing this correctly, I have, for the 12 years that I've been playing, 1,000 throws where I'm doing it incorrectly. So it's gonna take time to drill past that, but I'm hopefully moving in the right direction. And what we did here, I would say, are major takeaways. 1, we at least feel like we felt what we were supposed to feel out here. So confidence there. 2, we saw some really good flights, and that can be helpful for the wear and tear on the mental confidence when you're struggling to get out there and find success. And 3, we got a lot of footage. So on the ones that felt really good, I can go back and watch those and say, hey, it felt really good because I actually did it, or it felt really good, like I get the assessment. If I don't have the footage and I'm just out here in the field chucking disc after disc after disc, that's one thing, but it just takes your progress and like cuts its speed to success in half. So like I said, this is going straight to coach, but I'll also mention as a little teaser that I got word, someone sent me a screenshot today of someone in their coaching Discord talking about, hey, we'd love to see this. It'd be really fun to get this guy crushing, talking about me. And I do agree. It would be fun to see this guy crushing. So we're gonna get that guy who crushes, and I'm gonna check with coach, because if you're working with one coach, you can't just coach hop around looking for silver bullets. Find a coach, trust them, trust the process. So I'm gonna see if my coach, how he feels about this person, and probably not like, oh man, I'm jumping ship and going here entirely, but letting other person know that I'm actively working with this coach and sort of find a harmony. Robbie C is very excited to collab. Robbie Crawford's trying to throw far, and we have to find this balance between the 2 of them. So I think it'd be a really fun collab opportunity with this new individual. And I do think that they're buds, the other 2. So I think we'll end up on the same page, because I know that new person has talked about coach. Yeah, I'm just so many teasers. I hope you're having an amazing rest of your day. Please make it fantastic for someone else too. And here's the road, guys. Here's the road to 450. Let me know what type of content you're looking for in this series, and we'll see you for the next installment. But for now, we're gonna leave you with the birdies.